Hi, I'm Amelia. I've always felt like the luckiest girl in the world. I had the best parents who were both doctors. In school, I was a top achiever, and I did what I loved best, basketball. I was the star in my team, but apart from all the greatness I had in life, there was one flaw. I was born with a condition called hyponechia, meaning I didn't have nails on all my fingers. As a child, I thought it was cool because my parents said so, but soon noticed that other kids treated me funny because of it.
Hey, what happened to your hand? It's always been that way. Super cool, right?
All of them ran away like I had a disease. When I figured out that my hand actually freaked other kids out, I refused to leave the house.
Why can't you just heal my hand so I can be like other kids? Everyone treats me like an alien.
It's not something we can reverse, dear. It's your own perfect flaw.
When my parents saw that I wasn't ready to reason with them, they bought me a pack of fancy gloves to wear to school.
Your hands are awesome, but if this makes you more comfortable...
It does. Thanks.
For me, as long as no one saw my hands, my life was perfect. Then, the new neighbors arrived. I was throwing out the trash from the house one day when I saw them moving into the house next to us. I went over to help them and hopefully make new friends.
Hi, I'm Amelia, your next-door neighbor. Hi, I'm Crystal, and that's my mom.
Crystal seemed really friendly, unlike her mother, who looked like a hissing snake.
Crystal, quit the chit-chat and move those things!
Let me help.
I went to pick up a box from the van, but the woman grabbed my hand.
If you know what is good for you, you'll stay away from us. I just want to help. Oh, maybe you just want to meet Jackie.
Jackie, is that your child too?
Yes, my favorite child. Jackie! Jackie!
When I saw Jackie, I died and resurrected. Jackie was nearly a 4-foot hound. He looked like he wanted to eat me. I ran home screaming for my mom. Later in the evening, when I told my mom about the woman next door, Mom was furious.
I could definitely sue her for the threat. Maybe she was just playing. How can you say that? In fact, I'm going to give her a piece of my mind right now.
How about we bake a pie instead and give it to her as a welcome present? Maybe she just wasn't in a good mood.
Dad supported the idea, and since Mom always listened to him, the next morning, Mom and I baked a pie and carried it over to the neighbors. Crystal was the one who opened the door.
I'm so sorry for what my mom did to you that day. She's a bit crazy.
That's okay. Is she home? The porch suddenly felt icy when Crystal's mom appeared at the doorway.
How may I help you? Hi, I'm Amelia's mom. We baked this pie to welcome you and your beautiful daughter.
To my relief, the woman's stony expression melted off.
Oh, really? This is so sweet. I'm Mrs. Freeze.
She took the pie, and we happily turned to go. And that's when I felt something warm and soft hit the back of my head.
Ow!
Mom and I turned to see that Mrs. Freeze had just thrown the pie at me.
Stay away from my property and keep your stupid pie.
She slammed the door shut, and I had to hold Mom back from attacking the woman.
You hurt her. I don't want you anywhere near her.
I swore to stay away from the new neighbor, but fate had other plans. At school some days later, our school's principal announced that we had a new basketball coach. But when it was time for our new coach to arrive, the lollipop I was sucking on dropped to the floor at the sight of Mrs. Freeze coming into the basketball court.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be your new coach. Please treat me well.
She didn't even act as if she recognized me. Emily, a girl in my team who was very jealous of my success, was soon tripping over her feet to impress her.
Welcome, ma'am. At least no one will be more favored now.
What do you mean?
The former coach treated Amelia here specially. That's not true.
Who asked your permission to speak? Off the court now!
What?
Or would you prefer to be dropped off the team?
Upset, I went to the bleachers, and everyone else started playing. My team won, but I was so furious that I didn't get to play, so I decided to confront Mrs. Freeze and set things straight with her. But when I got to her office door, Mrs. Freeze was crying over a baby picture. I was so stunned I turned around and bumped right into Emily.
Came to bribe your way onto Mrs. Freeze's good side. Can you drop it?
I don't need to bribe any coach. I'm a natural.
Well, we have scouts coming in for our next game this weekend. We will see who is awesome then. Glove tag.
Being picked by the Scouts was a big step towards my dream of playing in the WNBA. Even though I was confident of my skills, I practiced more so I could impress them. But something happened that risked everything I had been working hard for. The morning before the game, I went to the bathroom to wash up, but slipped and fell. I sprained my right hand, but what hurt the most was what my parents said next.
Well, this means no game for you today. Dad, this is a golden opportunity to be a big sports star. And how are you supposed to do that with one arm? Besides, I doubt that witch you have as a coach would let you play at all.
There was no winning the argument with them, so the moment they left for work, I dressed up and hurried to the city's basketball court. I was already late. They were just about to start when I arrived.
Is that bandage a stunt to get the scouts' pity?
She's not faking. I knew a broken arm when I see it.
I worked hard for this, ma'am. A broken arm won't stop me. I expected Mrs. Freeze to get mad and order me out of the game, but to my shock, she asked for a handshake.
You're either very stupid or very brave. Either way, I'm beginning to like your guts. Reminds me of my much younger self.
Just as I was about to accept the handshake, I noticed that Mrs. Freeze had Hyponichia too.
Hey, your hand. It's just like... What? Never seen a nailless hand before?
Actually,
Take your position. Game time.
And just like that, she went back to being cold. Despite my one-handedness, I scored more points than any other player. It was a pain, but it was worth it because the scouts signed me up for a national game next year. Emily was green with envy. Later that night, I was struggling with how I could tell my parents about the offer I had gotten when Dad burst in angrily and threw some flowers at me.
Mrs. Freeze gave me this at the porch to give you for playing so well today. You snuck out to the game? And when did you become all chummy for Mrs. Crazy to give you flowers?
I felt the color drain off my face as both parents glared at me.
Have you taken off your gloves since you met her?
No? Why?
Never mind. For your disobedience, we are moving out of this neighborhood tomorrow, and you will change schools.
Like, pack our bags and go to a new house kind of leave?
Exactly. Honey, that's too sudden. Then next week.
Dad's behavior and decision was completely odd, but it was just the beginning. After that day, he began to act super paranoid. He became strict about dropping me off at school and picking me up. And if I had to go anywhere, Dad would tag along as if he felt someone would steal me away. His actions made me super suspicious, so I decided to investigate Mrs. Freeze. One night, I crept out of the house to hers and knocked on Crystal's window.
Hey, Chris, can I see you for a sec?
She came out and we sat on the grass. I just wanted to ask about your mother and send her my thanks for the flowers.
She got you flowers? Seems like you're beginning to grow on her. My mom never gets flowers for anyone.
So she's always like super cold to people? To you?
Hey, don't blame her. She's living up to our family name, Freeze. Being cold should be our family mark. Strangers. Anyway, she says a stranger stole something very important from her, so she doesn't trust anyone.
We talked some more, and Crystal revealed she was being homeschooled because of a health condition that made her weak.
I have to go now. Mom will freak if she sees me out here.
Just as she was about to go, she suddenly had a bad cough, and her mom appeared looking angry again.
What did you do to Crystal?
Nothing, ma'am, we were just talking.
In the middle of the night? I knew you could be a bad influence. Don't ever come near my daughter again.
I watched speechlessly as Mrs. Freeze went inside with Crystal. I couldn't believe she was the same person that gave me flowers. Despite her warning, I planned to go check on Crystal in the morning. But the next morning, I woke up to Dad and Mom packing things into a truck. What are you guys doing?
I told you, we're moving this week.
I thought you were just kidding.
Kidding? We're leaving the country today.
My head spun at Dad's words.
Dad, you can't do this. I just want a chance to play in the Nationals. Mom, please talk to Dad. Dad says he has serious bad vibes about staying here with Mrs. Crazy next door, or as your coach. Go in and pack. Essentials only. We need to leave here before she comes back from work.
Dad just didn't make sense. So when they turned their backs, I broke out in a run towards school.
Amelia, get back here!
At this point, I could bet all my money that Mrs. Freeze was Dad's ex, and he didn't want us to find out. Well, I was going to. However, at the moment I stepped into school, I was cornered by Emily and her friends.
I can't put it past me that you beat me with one hand.
Told ya, I was born and soaked in awesomeness.
Or your gloved hand is hiding some kind of magic you're cheating with.
Just admit that I'm better than you and get over it.
Prove me wrong then. Show us what's beneath the gloves.
I knew Emily was going to use force if I didn't cooperate. To make things worse, half of the school was now gathered around us, and I just couldn't let them all see my hand. Just then, I saw someone who could get me out of this mess.
Mrs. Freeze, please save me!
She ignored me as if she didn't know what was going on. Obviously, she was still mad at me from last night. Emily and her friends jumped on me then and succeeded in pulling off my gloves.
G! E.T. has got a sister!
The laughter was deafening.
Ew, it's like a toad's hand!
Just when I felt I would faint, Mrs. Freeze barged into the circle and grabbed my hand.
Amelia, are you okay?
She's a freak, ma'am.
If she's a freak, so am I.
She raised her hands, showing her nailless fingers.
Freaky. Now run, before I put all of you in detention.
She helped me to the school garden, where I finally caught my breath.
Amelia, I am so sorry.
I called you to help me. You ignored me.
It's you. You're the only one in the world with those hands. My baby. Please forgive me.
Your baby? Don't touch me.
You hurt her! Don't touch her! You have some guts to say that to me after stealing my daughter!
Dad, what's she talking about?
He's not your dad, and she's not your mom! I am.
What?
I told you to stay away from this insane! No, she's right. We are not Amelia's parents. Her daughter, Crystal, is our real child.
Mom and I went white with shock. My ears were ringing.
15 years ago, I went to a park with my months-old baby. A man came with a baby in a stroller too. We made small talk, and then I needed to use the public restroom. When I returned, he had taken my baby and replaced mine with his own.
Dad, that man was you?
Honey, tell me she's lying, please. What was I supposed to do? You were in a coma for months after you gave birth. Then I discovered that our baby was very sick. I thought she wouldn't make it past her first birthday, and I didn't want you to go through that. If I knew she would survive, I would have never—
This is why you wanted us to leave.
Yes. The day she gave me those flowers, I saw her hands and recognized her as your real mother. I'm so sorry. For years, I searched for you, Amelia. Losing you turned me into a bitter and unhappy person.
Crystal arrived then, and from the look on her face, she had heard everything.
What is all this I'm hearing? You are not my real mom?
Crystal, what are you doing here?
I saw and heard all the commotion this morning at Amelia's place, and I was so curious I had to follow.
I don't believe this. Is that enough proof for you?
Mrs. Freeze gave my mom a copy of my birth certificate, and written in it was my condition in details. With this alone, Dad's fate was sealed. That same day, Mrs. Freeze called the cops on Dad. It hurt to see him arrested, but he had to pay for his crimes.
No! Amelia is my daughter. She—
My heart broke for Mom, and I hugged her.
Of course I still am. There's more to being related than blood, right? But today, you have found another daughter. Show her some love.
It was the most emotional moment of my life. Dad went straight to jail from there. It hurt to see him arrested, but he had to pay for his crimes.
Will you move in with me now?
How about we all move in together?
Whatever you want, dear, as long as you're there.
The four of us rented a bigger house, and even though it was super awkward at first, over time, we all drew closer together. Somehow, the experience made me stronger. I stopped wearing gloves, and thanks to having Mrs. Freeze as my mom and coach, I became even more unstoppable at basketball. But I still had one more enemy to defeat.
So, you got my beauty, my basketball talent,
And your spooky nail thing.
thanks to this spooky nail thing that I was able to recognize you the moment you pulled off that glove.
Just then, Emily walked in, and her face soured like limes.
What's going on here? I'm bribing the coach, who happens to be my mom. Your mom?
Yes, I am. And you know what a mom hates most in the world? A person who picks on her child. I'd run if I were you.
Emily went red in the face and picked race. She gave me a wide berth from then on. I learned that you should embrace whatever imperfection you have. No one can ever hold it against you. And if you do bad things to hurt others, it will come back to bite you in the nose. It's just a matter of time.
Hi, I'm Audrey from Los Angeles. Despite coming from a poor family, a great part of my childhood was filled with happy memories thanks to my best friend, Gift. Our love for fashion drew us together. As kids, we drew clothes just like in the magazines, and then we would imagine being rich and wearing our own designs.
Aw, so cute. I want to make clothes like this someday. Me too, Gift. We will get there. Just don't stop dreaming.
Gift was really sweet, and I loved her to bits, even though she was shy. At school, we were the poorest, and our schoolmates didn't really like us. Once in 8th grade, Gift came to school with lunch for 2 of us, since we couldn't pay for the cafeteria food. We were about to eat when Britt walked up to us. She was the school's troublemaker, and especially loved to make fun of us, and Gift was very afraid of her.
Ew, cover that up. It stinks. But my mom made it. So? She's a bad cook. Now cover that up.
I grabbed Gift's hand before she could and took a big mouthful.
The meal was a choke full of salt, but I forced it down. No way was I supporting Britt calling my bestie's mom a bad cook. So yummy! And are you eating a hamburger today again? Watch out, it's telling on your tummy. What? Like every other girl obsessed with her body, she ran away to check her actually very flat tummy in the restroom. We ate our salty food in peace, but Britt just wouldn't let us rest. I mostly endured her nasty remarks and attitude, but in 10th grade, she did something that made me lose my cool. Gift and I were in the library sketching when Britt grabbed our sketchbooks from us. Britt, give that back! Oh, what's this? You two want to be designers? Poor people can't be designers, honey. So let me help you get rid of this dream. She raised the sketchbooks and tore them apart, and I saw red. I brought my foot up to kick some sense into her, but before it could land, my sneakers ripped in the front and my toes poked out. Everyone, look! Audrey has a rotten shoe! Everyone laughed, and for the first time in a long while, I wanted to cry from how humiliated I felt. But then Gift took off her sneakers and gave them to me. What? You will go barefooted?
I guess I'll be the school's Bigfoot today.
That day, in my eyes, Gift was like an angel, and I promised myself to do something big for her someday. The following weekend, I mended my old shoes and went to give hers back. But on arriving to her house, I saw that they were moving. Gift, what's going on?
Oh, hi, Audrey. I was just about to come and give you this.
She had bought me a brand new pair of sneakers. Gift, that was super sweet of you. But may I ask, where did you get the money for these?
My parents are super rich now.
Gift's parents won a $1 million contract, so they were moving to a better neighborhood. I'm going to miss you so much, Gift.
Oh, don't worry, I'll see you at school. I told my parents I don't want to change schools.
I was happy that Gift was at the same school, but the next day at school, the news was all over that Gift's parents had hit the jackpot. And when Gift finally arrived with a brand new Ferrari, everyone stared as she walked into school with sparkly designers. Even Britt. Hey, Gift, over here! She made to come to me, but Greg, one of the most quiet students in our class, smacked into her and spilled the juice in his hand. Britt was beside them in a second. OMG! Greg! How dare you ruin my bestie's jacket? Lick it now!
I'm sorry. Please, let me just wipe it.
Hey, it was an accident. And since when did Gift become your bestie? Since she became rich! Gift, you don't need to hang out with a poor loser like Audrey anymore. I expected Gift to reject Britt's shameless attempt to wiggle into her good graces, but what she did next shocked me. She pulled off the jacket and shoved it close to the guy's face. Lick it. Are you crazy, Gift? It's a leather jacket that can be cleaned.
Stay out of this, Audrey. Unless you have $5 grand to buy me another jacket. I don't think so.
I was so mad at her that I plucked out $10 from my pocket and flung it at her. That should get it cleaned. Without looking back, I grabbed the guy and we entered class. Well, Gift turned her back on me from that day and began to hang out with Britt and her friends. I knew they only liked her for her money, but she was too glad to roll with the popular crowd she couldn't see that. I was sad to lose a friend, but I took comfort in my mom, who always tried to motivate me. One day, we were cleaning out my house when she caught sight of my old sketchbook. Hey, I remember this book. Yeah, I'm not sure I can ever be a designer, Mom. Britt said it's not for poor people. And since when do you care about what Britt says? With what I see here, you're already one. Looking through the book reminded me so much of my days with Gift and made my heart ache. But Mom was right. My drawings were awesome. And even if Britt said I didn't have a chance because I was poor, I wanted to try first. But where could I start from? My answer came days later in the form of someone sharing flyers for a teen fashion training competition during the approaching summer. The winner was going to get $1 million and have a one-on-one tutorship from an unnamed popular designer that would be unveiled at the end. When I told my mom about it, she was rooting for me to go. She even asked that I tell Gift. Why would I do that? She's not my friend anymore. Maybe you'll be friends again if you do. Come on, I know you miss her. And what if she comes in and wins? Well, competition is the best form of motivation, and whether you win or not doesn't matter. The experience alone is what truly matters. Mom was right. I really missed Gift. It was the only thing that made me go to her house the next day.
What are you doing here?
I came to give you this.
What is this junk?
It's a chance for us to be designers, like we used to dream.
Look, I don't need to be a designer anymore since I can afford designers now. So get lost.
She slammed the door in my face, and I felt so embarrassed and angry. I was definitely not talking to her again. Summer holidays came by, and I went to the address on the flyer for the training competition. I was shocked to see Gift there as one of the trainees. I thought you wouldn't come.
Like I would let you become a designer before me.
What's your problem, Gift? Why did you let money change you like this?
Everyone changes at the taste of money, Audrey. Everyone.
I was just about to give Gift a piece of my mind when a rickety old woman arrived.
I think you missed the old people's home.
No, I'm here for the competition.
Everyone gaped at her. The trainees' chairs were filled up.
Well, nowhere to sit, old lady. So shoo!
Don't talk to her like that! I stood up from my chair and gave it to her.
Bless you, child.
The instructor soon came, and I had to stand for the rest of the class. My legs hurt, and Gift made sure to stick her tongue out at me all through. When class was over, the woman handed me a bunch of handmade, beautiful fabric flowers.
You'd be needing this.
Thank you. I didn't understand what she wanted me to do with it, until some days later, we were asked to make our first real outfit. The best 5 would continue to the next stage. I made a lovely dress, but when I added the flowers to the dress, it immediately stood out. I won first place, and Gift won third. The old woman won 5th. I couldn't help but wonder why the old lady didn't use the flowers for her dress. So when I saw her waiting outside, I approached her. Thank you for helping me, but why didn't you use the flowers for your design?
I don't like poke noses. Don't worry, I won't help you again.
I didn't mean to. My jaw dropped as a G-Wagon stopped before her and 2 guards got out.
Time to go, ma'am.
I could only stare. Who was this old woman who has bodyguards and a G-Wagon? The woman was about to enter the car when her hair turned to a strange angle. Ma'am, your hair... She fixed it back quickly, and the guard slammed the door before I could see anything else. But I was sure what I saw. She was wearing a wig. Was she bald? I had little time to dwell on the strange woman because our training got harder, and soon I had only Gift to go against for the final winner to be decided. That was when I had a strange encounter with Gift. I was shopping some secondhand clothing from a thrift store when I noticed Gift there too. Hey, I think you lost your way. The Rich People's Boutique is across this one.
Oh, really? I must have lost my way. Of course, what am I doing in a thrift store? I wear brand new designers only.
I knew she was lying about losing her way. Maybe she just wanted to save up some of her fat allowance by buying some cheaper summer clothes. It was her problem, though. I was totally focused on the final competition, which was finally a day away. Then something happened that threw me off my feet. I was getting ready for the last day of training week when I heard a thud. I rushed to the kitchen and found my mom curled up on the kitchen floor where she had fallen from a slip. Everything else happened in a blur. I called the ambulance and Mom was rushed to the hospital. We needed a lot of money for a massive surgery since she broke several bones. The day of the final competition between Gift and I arrived, but I didn't have it in me to go because Mom was still in the hospital.
Just go to the competition, honey. I will be fine.
Mom, I can't leave you.
You have to, Audrey. It'll be much better if you do.
And so I went, but because I was so distracted, Gift beat me by a whopping 5 marks. The second round was the deciding one, and we were asked to take a short break before we start. While we waited, I went to use the washroom hoping to clear my head. Gift came in seconds later.
I would just go home if I were you. I'm going to win this.
Sorry, Gift. I won't make it easy for you. Honestly, I was quite nervous Gift could win. I hadn't dwelled on the money I could gain if I won this, but with Mom needing money for treatment, the money was all I could think about now. Sometime after Gift left, the old woman came in. I hadn't spoken with her since the last time she left with a fancy ride.
Seems like your head isn't in the game, child.
I'm having a really bad day, if you couldn't tell.
She slipped a tiny pair of scissors into my hands.
Ruin Gift's final outfit, so only yours gets to shine. Easy win.
With the way things were going, it was a very tempting suggestion, but I won't hurt another person for me to win. If I win fair and square.
Suit yourself!
Minutes later, Gift and I were back on stage making our dresses. I forced myself to think of nothing else but doing my best. We finished in the evening and went home, waiting for the judge's arrival and decision tomorrow morning. I stayed by my mom all through the night. The next day, the judges arrived and Gift and I were asked to present our dresses. But when I unveiled mine, it was in ruins.
Is this a prank or what?
I swear, it wasn't like this, but I turned to Gift, who was struggling to hide a smile.
Gift! You insane lizard brain! You did this!
I didn't do anything.
Oh, yes, you did.
Everyone turned to watch the old woman walk in.
I now proclaim Audrey the winner of this competition.
Huh? Somebody please take her to an old people's home. She's losing.
Everyone watched in shock as the old woman pulled off her disguise. She still has a few gray hairs, but she was not as old as I thought.
Laura Gaga?
Was Gift saying the old woman was Laura Gaga? The most elusive and creative designer in the planet?
Right as rain, kid. I want an heir that has talent, good character, empathy. Gift, you're talented for sure, but you're too selfish and proud. Audrey refused to cheat, even though she saw signs you could beat her in a fair game. But you didn't think twice about it.
I was amazed to discover that the scissor stuff had just been a test, and that old woman was the designer we were all competing for. Laura Gaga threw me a small celebratory party that day and signed me a check of $1 million. We would also have a one-on-one tutorship after school hours. With some of the money, I paid the hospital for Mom's surgery, and we deposited the rest in the bank. I wasn't gonna spend it till we had a foolproof plan of how to invest it. When school reopened, I got to school in my favorite thriftwear and sneakers, but somehow everyone had heard that I was rich. I was barely surprised when Britt walked up to me and put her hands around my shoulders.
Look who's a millionaire now! So what's the first thing on the list? Shopping, party, designer clothes?
I was just about to shove her away when I saw Gift curled up in a corner, crying. Gift, what happened?
Apparently, her parents only won a lottery, wasted their money. Now they are back to being square one. I just gave her a small welcome back to poverty.
I was so mad at Britt, it felt like I would explode.
Why are you laughing? I thought she was your friend. Was. Not anymore. You're my new bestie, Audrey. I'd rather have a pig as a bestie. Get lost!
Britt glared at me and left, and I sat beside Gift. Hey, so you weren't in that thrift shop by accident, huh? Yeah. Audrey, I'm really sorry. When I learned that my parents had gone bankrupt, I was desperate to win, so I agreed to ruin your dress when Laura Gaga suggested it. I'm so ashamed of myself. Well, it wasn't easy for me to reject the suggestion, too. You deserve the win, Audrey. You deserve every good thing. Please forgive me. Looking at her, the image of her walking barefoot because she lent me her shoes came to me. Despite what she'd done, I couldn't forget that. Well, I won't be touching the money I won till the next 5 years. So if you're coming to spend it, sorry. Thank you. I missed you, Audrey. I missed you too. No matter what you become or have tomorrow, be yourself. Be humble, make friends that stick with you through thick and thin, and be that friend. One more thing, guys. Spend wisely. Hi, I'm Princess Jana of Estonia, a tiny kingdom somewhere in Europe. My parents, the king and queen of Estonia, always made sure I had everything except freedom. I couldn't go anywhere without someone watching me, and I hated that. All I wanted to do was experience life like a normal teen, and that chance finally came on my 17th birthday when they surprised me with a trip to the Maldives. But as they say, be careful what you wish for. The private jet waited as our limo pulled up. My best friend Emma, my boyfriend Sebastian, and I got out of the limo and walked to the plane. Mr. Boris, my bodyguard, pulled our suitcases.
OMG! I can't believe this is real! Somebody pinch me!
Sebastian pinched Emma playfully and they laughed. I liked that they got along.
It's just a private jet, Em. My dad owns like 3 of them.
Show off!
Emma was my only friend. She'd been picked by my mother and introduced to me on my 5th birthday. My mother had called her my birthday present. Crazy, I know. Sebastian, on the other hand, was the son of a wealthy businessman, and we met when his family visited the palace.
Do you guys want to go bungee jumping? I've always wanted to try it. Bungee jumping? Are you insane? The queen will never approve it. She doesn't need to know.
Seb, what do you think?
You can go, Jana. We'll cover for you with Mr. Boris. We are good at keeping secrets, right, Em?
Yeah, totally.
A few hours later, I stood at a huge bridge as I eagerly awaited my turn to jump. Just then, I spotted a cute guy carrying some jumping gear and figured he worked there.
Hello, I'm Jana. You work here, right? It's my first time doing, well, anything. So I guess we'll need to be strapped together for my jump?
Sure. You can strap yourself to me any day. My name is Nicholas, by the way.
What a flirt! Anyway, as I was busy blushing, he squatted and strapped my ankle to his.
I know we just met, but you're going to have to hug me for this one.
I mean, I knew it was for the jump. Why was my heart beating so fast? Without thinking too much, I wrapped my hands around him and closed my eyes.
Ready?
Yes!
Here we go! Hold on tight!
And that is exactly what I did. When we jumped, I squealed all the way through while he laughed. It was the most exhilarating experience of my life. After my adventure, I sneaked back into the hotel, excited to tell Sebastian and Emma all about it, but they were not in the room, so I went looking for them. A few minutes later, I spotted them lounging by our suite's private pool and was about to open the door when I heard Emma mention my name.
I'm so sick of Jana. If I hear her complain one more time about not being able to live a normal life, my ears will bleed.
Right? And I'm only dating her because the king requested my dad that I do it as a favor to him.
Wait, what? I thought you were into her.
No way! I can't even stand her. Besides, you're way hotter than her.
I think you're hot too. You can do way better than her entitled highness.
I watched in shock as Sebastian moved towards Emma and kissed her. Enraged, I stormed into view and they jumped apart.
Are you freaking kidding me? How could you do this to me? And how could you say all those awful things about me? Well, everything you just heard, it's all true. We can't stand you.
She wasn't even sorry.
And it's not my fault that Seb likes me better than a whiny little brat like you.
I was so mad I lunged at her and we fell into the pool.
A whiny brat? How dare you! Let me go!
Whoa, ladies. Let's all calm down and talk about this, please.
There's nothing to talk about. I'm done with both of you.
I got out of the pool, angry, and as I walked away, I slipped and fell.
Ow!
As I lay there clutching my knee, Mr. Boris came rushing in.
Jana, what happened here?
I caught them saying mean things about me. Then they kissed and
Please, take a deep breath. Everything will be fine, darling. But right now, we have to go back home, so your personal doctor can check your knee.
As he carried me out of there, I felt safe, like everything would be okay. Mr. Boris always made me feel this way. He was more of a father to me than the king.
Thank you for always being there for me, Mr. Boris.
When we arrived back home, Mr. Boris wheeled me into the living room. When my mother saw me, she got off her chair and rushed towards me.
Jana, what happened?
Jana went bungee jumping. We tried to stop her, but she didn't want to listen to us.
Have you completely lost your mind?
Mother,
She tried to take us with her, but we refused.
Sebastian and Emma really wanted me to get into trouble.
How could you be so reckless? We trusted you this one time, but you failed. And you... How could you let her do that? You're so lucky I can't fire you.
I followed her and watched her. She was not in any danger, Your Highness.
What? I thought I was alone.
You're never alone, my girl.
Go to your room, now!
don't you mean my prison cell?
As Mr. Boris pushed me out of the room, I couldn't help but wish that he was the king. A few days later, Mr. Boris and I were out on the lawn when he knelt next to me and handed me a necklace with a locket on it.
What's this?
It's my birthday gift to you. I'm sorry your trip didn't go as planned.
Wow, thank you so much. It's beautiful. I'm never taking it off.
As Mr. Boris helped me put on the necklace, we saw my mother walk towards us, a bunch of servants following her closely.
Mother, is everything okay? Yes, Jana. I'm here to introduce you to your nurse. We hired him just a few minutes ago. Nurse? I don't need a nurse. My knee is much better and My words died in my throat when a familiar guy moved from behind the servants and stood right in front of me.
Hello, Princess. I'm Nicholas. It's a pleasure to meet you for the first time ever.
Clearly, Nicholas didn't want the Queen to know we'd met before because she'd probably fire him. On second thought, Mom, I don't mind being pushed around and taken care of. I don't want to strain my knee too much. Very well, Jonna. I'll see you later. And please do everything Nicholas asks.
You heard her.
This was going to be fun. A few minutes later, Nicholas pushed me down a paved path, and when we were far enough, I asked him what I'd been dying to ask. How are you here? Aren't you supposed to be in the Maldives?
Because I live here. I was just in the Maldives for vacation.
Why didn't you tell me you weren't the jumping instructor?
You looked scared, so I figured I assist the damsel in distress.
Whoa! There's no damsel in distress here.
If you say so, Princess.
Whatever. Just wheel me back to my room now. I'm quite tired and I need to rest.
First day, you're already inviting me to your room?
Fine, I'll just wheel myself. I wheeled myself away from Nicholas, and just when I rounded a corner, I saw Sebastian and Emma kissing in front of the palace fountain. I took out my phone and took a picture of them. When I got a chance, I'd use that against them. Disgusting!
Careful. You might hurt your other leg and die of jealousy altogether.
And then, all of a sudden, when Emma noticed Nicholas, she threw herself at him like a groupie.
Hi, handsome. I'm Emma. And you are?
Not interested.
As much as I was enjoying Emma's embarrassment, I noticed something much more interesting. The main gate was wide open, and without thinking, I took off.
Hey, where are you going?
Anywhere but here. I can't look at these two anymore. I expected him to stop me, but to my surprise, he smiled.
Okay, well, just wait here while I go get my car.
As he walked away, I felt so excited. Nicholas was my ticket to freedom. Nicholas drove us to a movie theater, and when we arrived, he parked his car and took his shirt off. What are you doing?
Relax, Princess. It's not that kind of date. I'm just changing into regular clothes. I can't go to a movie in scrubs.
Of course. Makes sense. Did you say date? I've never been on a date before.
What about Mr. Casanova back there? I assume he was your boyfriend at some point?
He was, but we never went out anywhere.
Well, that's his loss. Let's go. They're showing a new horror movie. This should be fun.
He was right. It was fun. For him, at least. I, on the other hand, screamed and covered my face so many times, much to Nicholas's amusement. After the movie, Nicholas pushed me out and was about to help me back in his car when I stopped him. Wait, will you do me one last favor?
Oh, God. Please stop doing that. You look like you're having a seizure.
I really thought I was being cute.
Okay. What do you want?
I want to drive your car.
Absolutely not. You're hurt.
Just then, I stood up from my wheelchair, snatched the car keys from Nicholas, and climbed into the driver's seat.
What the heck? You can walk?
Yeah, my knee is all healed. It's a miracle.
Now get in.
Okay, so let me get this clear. You could walk this whole time.
Yeah, sorry. You're not mad?
What? No. It's obvious you pretended just so you could keep me around. You like me.
He was right, but there was no way I was going to admit it.
Shut up.
As soon as I stepped on the gas, the car jerked backwards and rammed right into a tree.
Nick, are you okay?
Yes, Princess. I'm okay. I can't say the same for my car.
I'm so sorry. My parents are gonna kill me.
You're right. They are.
Nick and I turned to see Mr. Boris standing there. Mr. Boris? Where did you come from?
I found you through the mobile tracker on your phone.
Of course my phone had a tracker. I wasn't even surprised anymore.
Don't worry about the car. I've already called a tow company. I need to get you home now.
I'm really sorry, Nick. As soon as we walked into the living room, my father walked towards us, angry.
Boris, you were supposed to bring Jonna back hours ago. And wait, you can walk? Your Majesty, the princess went to a movie, and I didn't want to interrupt because she looked happy for once.
Are you saying that she's unhappy here?
Yes,
That's what I've been trying to say all this time. I even had to pretend just so I could spend time with Nicholas. You ungrateful girl! We should have never adopted you in the first place! Of all the things I expected her to say, that was not one of them. And as if summoned by the devil himself, Emma and Sebastian chose that moment to walk in.
Oh, she walks!
I knew it. She was faking it so she could keep that stupid nurse around.
Shut up, both of you! Did you just say I'm adopted?
What? This is too good.
I knew all along you didn't have royal blood in you.
You two need to get out! Don't talk to your friends like that! Friends? These two betrayed me and you didn't even bother to ask for my side of the story! Oh, honey, I'm sure it was a momentary lapse of judgment on their part. Seeing how clueless my mother was, I fished out the picture I took of them earlier and showed it to her. See what my so-called friends have been doing right under my nose? She took one look at the photo and grabbed Emma by her ears. Is this what I paid you for?
I am so sorry, Your Highness.
Quiet! Both of you, get out! Emma was finally getting what she deserved. I couldn't take the tension anymore, so I stormed out. I thought my day couldn't get any crazier. Boy, was I wrong. After I stormed out, I went to the palace garden, and as I sat crying, Mr. Boris joined me.
You look so much like your mother. You know? Your real mother, I mean.
You knew my mom?
Yes, she was my wife.
What? I don't understand. As I waited for Mr. Boris to explain, he reached into his pocket and took out a necklace that looked exactly like the one I was wearing.
This belonged to your mom. The one you're wearing belongs to me. We had them made when you were born. This is a picture of you and your mom.
I don't understand. Why did you give me away?
I had no choice. When you were born, your mother and I could barely provide for you. One day you became very ill, and I decided to seek help from the king and queen.
Mr. Boris continued to explain that the king and his wife, who couldn't have children, agreed to help him on one condition, that he let them adopt me.
I only agreed as long as they allowed me to stay by your side. Your mother was so angry that she left us.
I stared at the photo and sobbed. Mr. Boris was my dad. It all made sense now why he was always there for me, why I always felt a connection with him. Just then, our moment was interrupted by a blood-curdling scream. What was that?
Hurry, let's go find out.
We hurried to the front lawn and found Emma in a heated argument with an elderly couple wearing tattered clothes. Emma dear, please don't be upset. We are so happy to see you.
Who the heck are you? You're mistaking me for someone else.
Emma, my daughter. I know you were just a small girl when we gave you to the queen, but you can't forget your parents. Emma tried to take Sebastian's hand, but he shoved her off him.
Don't touch me. I don't want your poverty rubbing off on me. Security, come throw this trash out.
Guards grabbed Emma and her parents, but before they could throw them out, I stopped them. Stop! I'll take it from here. Hi, I'm Jana. Please come with me. As soon as we walked into the queen's office, she screamed and took a step back. Who are these people? Are we being robbed? These are Emma's parents. You need to help them. And why would I do that? I already spend a lot on Emma's stay here. Besides, she's been busy messing around with your chosen suitor. I don't owe them anything. They need to leave now. How can you be so cruel? You just don't get it, Jana. If we helped every charity case that came to us, we'd have nothing. I can see now we made a poor selection when we adopted you for an heiress. You know what? You don't have to regret your selection anymore. I'm leaving the palace. Look, I know we probably have not been the most attentive parents, the king and I, but we have only wanted the best for you. Why would you want to leave us? Because even though Mr. Boris was just my chauffeur, he was more of a parent than you guys were. All you did was lock me up and set me up with people who didn't even genuinely like me. I want to be more myself, be free to do whatever I want. I wasn't meant to be an heir. You said it yourself. The queen surprised me with a hug. I hardly expected it, but she had never hugged me like this all my life. Was she sad? I am so sorry I failed at being a mom to you, Jana. I was overprotective, and I didn't give you a chance. You're right. You deserve to be free, and your dad will take good care of you. Just promise you'll come visit us from time to time.
I will take good care of her, Your Highness, and make sure she visits.
Thank you, Boris. You've always been kind. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call me. The queen kissed my cheek and left. I was still trying to process her reaction when Mr. Boris took my hand.
Come on, honey. We have some packing to do.
A few hours later, Mr. Boris and I drove to a cabin outside of town, and imagine my surprise when I saw Nicholas waiting. I was so excited, I ran up to him and hugged him.
Nick, what are you doing here?
Mr. Boris called me and asked me to meet you here.
Thank you, Mr. Boris. Dad, for everything.
So, Princess, are you ready for your new life?
You know I'm not a princess anymore.
You'll always be a princess to me.
That's so corny, Nick. I felt a sense of peace, as I knew with Nicholas and my dad by my side, I would always be okay.
Z, baby, do you want to watch me decorate this cake? It's a unicorn cake!
Let me finish my sketch first, Mom. This is my best one.
How are you going to learn about my business if you keep on sketching? Please don't turn into your father.
But Mom, this is what I love.
Mom never took what I loved seriously. She wanted me to take over her business instead of following my dreams. I was born to a loving and caring family. My mom is a baker, and my dad is a fashion designer. My childhood was so much fun, but then my dad left about a year ago with his evil boss and didn't come back. And ever since, Mom has been so bitter about anything to do with Dad. One day, when I was 14, I had managed to make my own dress, and I wanted to show it to Mom. And then I twirled and accidentally bumped the cake she was decorating right off the table. Mom had a total meltdown.
Sienna Lopez, look what you've done!
I am sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to show you the dress I made.
Mom wasn't interested in my dress or my apologies. I offered to help her, but she didn't want that either. And ever since then, she spent more time working and hardly took the time just to look at me. By the time I graduated high school, Mom had her own little bakery. And one morning, when I was looking for some cereal, I made a shocking discovery. I found a stack of letters hidden in the cupboard. They were from my dad. I couldn't believe that Mom would keep these from me. I had to know why.
Hazy, how could you keep these from me? Zai, they're just letters. If he really cared, he would never have left us.
Mom's bitterness towards Dad made me sick. I needed to know why she did what she did, but I wasn't getting anywhere with my mom, so I went to my room and stayed there all night. The next morning, I left home before Mom was awake and sat in the park across our apartment building. If Mom couldn't tell me why, I was going to find out on my own. I picked up the top letter to open it, but then a gust of wind ripped it from my hands. I couldn't lose the letter now, so I locked my eyes onto it, and finally it was low enough for me to reach. But as I leapt to grab it, I bumped heads with someone.
Hey, are you all right?
I didn't know if it was the bump on the head or the fact that this guy was a total knockout, but I couldn't reply. Then he waved his fingers in my face.
Hey, are you all right? Can you see how many fingers I'm holding up?
I'm fine. Sorry for bumping into you. I was just chasing. Just then, I remembered how I ended up here, and I was about to start searching again when the stranger handed me the letter.
Hey, is this what you're looking for?
Oh, thank you so much. Can I buy you a hot dog as a thank you?
Another time, maybe. I am off to work. My name's Brett.
I'm Ziana. I had quite a bump by the afternoon, a sort of nagging reminder of the brawny Brett. I wondered if I would ever see him again. Then Mom walked in.
Zai, do you really want to see your father? Aren't I enough?
Mom was doing this right now, trying to guilt me. I was not going to fall for it.
Yes, Mom, I do.
The next morning, I read Dad's letters, and they were really sweet, and it seemed like he cared. I decided to call him. My dad agreed to come over to our apartment that same night. Dad, come in!
I have missed you so much, Z-Baby.
What are you doing here?
I am here to see Ziana. She invited me.
Well, this is my apartment and I didn't invite you, so leave!
Ziana, baby, I should go, but I will send a car for you tomorrow. We can meet at my office.
Suddenly, I felt like that little girl Dad left years ago.
Mom, you've kept me away from my father long enough and you have to stop now!
Dad sent a car for me, just like he said. I felt like royalty. All the way there, I imagined what it must be like to be a famous designer. There was a young assistant who took me into a boardroom filled with people, and Dad gave me a seat at the table.
Everyone, this is my daughter, Ziana, and she will be working here from today. She needs to learn exactly what goes into making us a successful company.
Thank you, Dad.
Ziana, this is Tori, your stepsister, and Lauren, your stepmom. They also work here.
I recognized the lady from the day Dad left. The girl looked about my age. They were so beautiful, but not very welcoming.
Okay, back to work. No time to waste. Ziana, Tori will show you around. I have a meeting to attend now.
After Dad left, Tori and her mom made it quite clear where my place was.
Are you ready to see your new office?
Okay, let's go.
I saw Lauren and Tori grinning at each other like Cheshire cats. It seemed so odd until I got to my new office. Tori and Lauren took me to an office that had nothing to do with designing. It was the mail room.
So this is where you will be working. Enjoy!
They left me there and walked off laughing like hyenas. Did Dad even know they took me to the mailroom? Was I supposed to design from there? The next morning, I was up early and ready to go. Tori and Lauren weren't gonna get rid of me that easily. I was going to be the best mailroom girl they had ever seen. Dad would surely see how committed I was. I was busy sorting the mail when I got the surprise of my life to suddenly see Brett in front of me.
Still chasing letters, I see.
Oh, hi! Brett, right? What are you doing here?
I work here. Tori tells me that you're an intern here now. How are you enjoying it?
More like mail delivery girl. I haven't even had a chance to show Dad some of my designs. And how do you know Tori?
Oh, you design? Maybe I can see them and tell you if they're any good, you know? Before you show them to your dad.
I thought that it was strange that Brett wanted to see my designs, but I showed them to him anyway. He was so cute. Well, are they good?
These are okay. Not really what we do here, but you've got potential. Keep at it.
After Brett left, Dad sent his assistant to call for me.
Your dad would like to see you.
Hey, Dad, did you want to see me?
There have been some mix-ups with the materials and designs. Lauren said that you were behind it.
Dad, I just followed what Tori said. She said to deliver the designs to the storeroom and the material to accounts.
Ziana, taking responsibility when you make a mistake is one of the ways to success. I am going to let this one go, but next time please be careful.
Yeah, Ziana. We work too hard to see you mess things up.
Tori was being her usual pompous self. But Dad, he should have realized by now that they stuffed me into the mailroom, but all he cared about was work. I couldn't let Tori and her mom win. I would double-check everything with Dad. That would make him see that my talent was wasted in the mailroom. The next morning, Tori told me that I needed to take the delivery of zippers to the janitor's closet and then clear out the storeroom. That didn't sound right, so I went to see Dad. Dad, I need your, help.
Wait, aren't those my designs on the models? You snake! You saw my designs and shared them with Tori! When were you gonna mention that this was my work?
Ziana, calm down. What are you talking about?
These are my designs your models are wearing. I drew them.
I can show you.
My book with my designs, it's gone.
You stole it! You took my book, and now you're acting like this is your work!
Ziana, these designs are excellent. There is no way you could have done these.
Especially since all you have done is mix everything up.
I couldn't believe my dad or Brett. But then Brett spoke.
Ziana, it's nothing personal. Please understand.
Oh, shut up, Brett! What is there to understand except that these are my designs?
Tori was such a liar. No matter what I said, she was just going to lie. And how would I prove these were my designs? She even had Brett steal my book. Ah! I wish I had never come here.
Fine! You win, Tori! I quit! And no amount of designer clothes can cover up your ugly hearts!
My heart was so heavy when I left Dad's company. I needed my mom.
Mom, can we talk, please? What's wrong, Z? I wish I never found those letters. Dad doesn't even treat me like his daughter. It's like I'm just another employee. Well, ex-employee now. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Loving money can do that. Makes hearts cold towards each other. I shouldn't have hid those letters from you. If you really want to design and make dresses, then I will help you. But how, Mom? I have been saving to buy the building next door for the bakery, but you can have it to start your boutique. Oh, Mom! Thank you! I'll make it up to you, I promise.
Mom had saved up enough money for me to have my designs made up and rent a little shop. It took 6 months, but at last I had my own little boutique.
Hi there. Will this be all?
Hi. Yes, thank you.
Opening day was good, although I did expect it to be better. And then near closing time, Brett and Tori walked in.
What do you want? Here for some inspiration?
I see you're working my old job.
Your dad asked if I could give this to you. He said it was important. I am sorry for the way things ended for you at the company.
From the looks of things here, I'm not. Your designs are rubbish.
I felt like pouncing on Tori and pulling out her fake hair. But then Mom came up behind me.
Is everything okay, Zai?
Yeah, Mom. I was about to call the cops on these two design thieves, but I guess they can go ahead and steal a few designs because they can't steal my talent.
After Tori and Brett's visit, business suddenly slowed down, and I needed to pay rent soon. So I opened the letter Dad sent. It was an invitation to show my designs at their fashion show. But how could I trust him after the way he treated me?
Hi, Zai. I brought you some lunch.
Thanks, Mom. Can we talk? Mom had done so much for me. It showed that she only wanted to help me, so I knew I could trust her for advice.
What's on your mind?
Dad's letter is an invite to show my designs at his fashion show. It would be great for business, but he hurt me so badly.
Before your dad left, he had the choice to start his own little boutique. Instead, he chose a shortcut and left us for Lauren, who had lots of money. I know I've always said don't become like your dad, but you should go to the fashion show.
I was confused. I thought Mom hated Dad. But Mom,
Zai, don't let your emotions destroy your dreams. Be strong and fight to make it happen.
I listened to Mom, and before the show could begin, Dad came backstage. We hugged, and he apologized for how he treated me.
Z, darling, I'm sorry for the way I treated you. It was wrong, and I know that now. I love you.
Thank you, Dad. I love you too. Now I have to go wow this crowd. Since I couldn't afford a model, I was backstage getting ready to model my own designs. Then I heard my name. It was like I was floating on a cloud. People loved my dress. Then when I went backstage, the devil herself looked at me sternly. It was Lauren.
Don't let the limelight give you any bright ideas. Your designs may be good, but there's no place for you here. I only have one daughter, and that's Tori. Listen, lady, I didn't come here because I needed a mom. I came here for my dad.
I wasn't gonna let Lauren get me down. The crowd was waiting to see another Très Z original, and I couldn't disappoint. But then I saw Brett standing at the dressing room door.
What do you want, Brett?
Ziana, you're back?
Yes, I am back. Now move. I need to change into another dress.
Oh, do you have more designs? In this room?
I couldn't believe that I thought Brett was cute. Too bad being cute didn't make up for being dumb. Brett was wasting my time, so I shoved him aside and went in, only to see Tori.
Ziana, this isn't what it looks like. Then what is it, Tori?
I couldn't expect Tori to admit that she was trying to ruin me. She would just lie. So I grabbed my dresses and left. No point arguing with a fool. Tori and her lackey boyfriend deserved each other. The next morning when I got to the boutique, there were people already queuing to get in. I was so happy. Business was so good that within a year, I was able to buy the building Mom wanted. It was big enough for the both of us.
Oh, Z, baby, this is ours. You never have to worry about rent money again.
Yes, Mom, and I promise I won't twirl near any of your cakes. While Mom and I celebrated our victory, Dad suddenly entered. Dad, what are you doing here?
I heard everything between you and Lauren that night at the fashion show, and I'm sorry.
I'd never seen Dad with tears in his eyes before, so I hugged him. It's all right, Dad. I forgive you.
I should have never chosen them over you, but I won't do that again.
What do you mean?
Lauren told me that it was either them or you.
Dad left the big fashion house and asked if he could help with getting the new building ready. Mom found it hard to forgive him just yet, but then she gave him a chance after he surprised her with new baking utensils.
Fine, I'll give you a chance to help us around the business.
Here we were, the three of us, all working together. I was happy that we got a do-over because a family that sticks together succeeds together. Okay, if we get this right, we will have created the perfect cleaning solution.
Or we're going to blow up my house.
Okay, ready? Let's do it.
Oh no, we put in too much soap.
I have always been like my dad, a smart genius. And because of my dad, I met my best friend Trevor. His dad and my dad worked together. We went to the same school, and sometimes we would hang out together. Until one day, his dad ruined everything. Mr. Smith had always been nice to me, but when he came into the room that day, he seemed so weird.
Hey, Erica, here's a gift for you.
What's this, Mr. Smith?
It's a prototype of a new computer game. I want you to be the first one to test it.
I should have known something was wrong when I saw his sly smile. Thanks, Mr. Smith.
Oh, yes. Just make sure to play it on your dad's computer.
I had no idea Mr. Smith had been working against my dad. Usually, I never messed with my dad's work computer, but I loved video games and Mr. Smith insisted. When I got home, I started to play the game Mr. Smith gave me, but then weird messages started to pop up. The disk turned out to be a virus. The computer started to smoke, and before I knew it, the entire thing blew up. My dad rushed into the room.
Erica, what are you doing in my office? What happened to my computer?
Sorry, Dad. I just wanted to play the game Mr. Smith gave me.
On my computer? You're dumb. Video game obsession caused all this. All my work for the big day was on there. Now what am I going to do?
It was too late. I had ruined all of my dad's work for his big presentation.
I knew I should have gotten rid of these stupid video games. They belong in the trash.
My dad gathered up all of my video games and threw them away. Dad, please don't throw my games away. It was an accident.
Now, you can't get into any more trouble in our new neighborhood.
New neighborhood? And that's when I found out my dad was moving the entire family out of town. With his project destroyed, my dad stood no chance against Mr. Smith, and he was fired. The next day, moving vans showed up to our house. I couldn't stop crying, thinking that this would be the last time I would see Trevor. My whole life was going to change, and it wasn't just because we were moving to a different city.
Now remember, we all need to work extra hard since I lost my job.
I'll do whatever I can to help out, Dad. You can count on me.
Hey! Slow down! I can't! It's too slippery!
Did you just hit me with a snowball?
Of course not. I think that snowball from Miranda was meant for me, so thank you for taking it for me. I'm Lisa. I'm a fashion designer.
I'm Erica, and now I'm freezing.
Where's this Miranda? I've got a bone to pick with that girl. No, don't do it. She makes the most money for the store. Therefore, she runs it. She can make your life miserable here, Erica. Besides, forget about her. Today is the big day.
What's so special about today?
Hunter is the richest guy in town, and today he's doing his Christmas shopping. And this year, he's going to pick my design for his Christmas list. I just know it.
Are those your designs?
Oh no, all my samples are wet.
Lisa and I quickly became friends. Even though I missed Trevor, it was nice to have someone to talk to again. And then I met the terror that is Miranda.
Oh, how cute. She found a friend to play with in the dirty snow. How fitting.
I don't know who this girl thought she was, but I know she wasn't talking to me like that.
You should watch who you throw things at. Some people may throw things back. Whatever. You both smell like wet dogs. Just stay away from Hunter so you don't ruin my big Christmas sale.
I thought Miranda was going to be the worst part of working at the store, but the customers were just as bad. Working in the store during the holidays was the worst. Everyone was so rude. It didn't help that Miranda and her little friends were trying to make my life as difficult as possible. But that day, I met the most entitled person I have ever met. Even thinking about it makes my blood boil.
And I will take this whole section to decorate my dog houses.
Hey, excuse me. I'm working here.
And who are you?
I'm annoyed. Nice to meet you. Now, if you don't mind, I have to clean this all up.
Work? What is that? You're funny and cute. And I want her as well.
Hey, buddy, I'm not for sale. I just work here. Hey, Richie Rich, I think you need a serious wake-up call. I work for everything I get, buddy.
Fine. Then I will buy the store. That makes you my employee.
Whatever, dude. I'm going to lunch. But when I got back from lunch that day, the whole store was empty. It was like Thanos had done the snap or something. When I got outside, Hunter was waiting outside the store in front of a limo. Where is everyone?
I told you, I bought the store, and now you and I can be together. Can't you see? I've fallen head over heels for you. You've basically won the lottery.
Are you insane? This is my only job, and I need to help my parents pay for our home.
You don't understand. My father is rich, and I can get whatever I want for my Christmas present, and I've chosen you.
Once again, moneybags, I'm not for sale. And besides, I'm in love with someone else. See ya.
You should know I always get what I want.
Well, not with me.
As much as I wanted to ride home in a limo after a long day, I walked in the snow all the way home. But when I got home, I was surprised to find my family throwing a party.
Oh, hey honey, welcome to the party.
What's going on here?
Great news, honey. Your father has been offered a job.
Not only that, but someone is going to pay for our house for a year.
That's great, but who exactly is giving us all this free stuff?
That's the best part, hon. It's a mystery. They just said it was a secret admirer. Isn't that amazing?
I think I had an idea of who would be so over-the-top extra like this.
Go up to your room, hon. Our secret admirer even left a gift for you.
My room was full of every luxury item I could imagine. It was like I had opened up my own department store. On my bed was a note with an address on it.
My dearest Erica, this is just a taste of the life and luxury you and your family will have if you will be my girlfriend. Meet me at my mansion tomorrow at noon with your suitcase. Your love, always, Hunter.
What an absolute lunatic! A lunatic who could change my family's life. I was torn on what to do. I didn't want to ruin my dad's joy or his new job, so I went to see exactly what this rich jerk wanted.
Ah, you must be Master Hunter's Christmas gift. You've arrived quite early.
I'm no one's gift, okay? I'm just here to help my dad. Now, where's Hunter?
Right this way. I'll show you to your room.
My room? When the butler opened the door, I saw a room full of presents as far as the eye can see.
Master Hunter wants you to live here for the next week. That way on Christmas Day, we can have his grand unwrapping.
Stay here? No way! I'm not spending the holiday away from my family.
But your father has already signed a contract for you to stay here. Think of it as a Christmas vacation.
I couldn't believe I was stuck in this ridiculous place, and I couldn't believe my dad would sign me up for this. I needed to find a way out of here. I started searching for an exit, and then...
Finally! I was wondering when you would get here.
Lisa? What are you doing here?
I heard that Hunter fell head over heels with you, and I told a little white lie that I was your clothing designer.
Lisa, we need to get out of here. This Hunter kid is crazy. He thinks he can have people as his Christmas present.
That's not exactly normal. It's not that bad, Erica. You can order whatever food you want, and our parents get so much money.
Yeah, Lisa, but we're a rich jerk's presents. Just then, the door burst open, and a tall woman came into the room.
Oh, excellent. The new toys have arrived. You must be the one my precious Hunter found at the department store today. I'm his mom, and we need to make Hunter's Christmas perfect.
Toy? Listen, lady, you better let me go right now. We're not your son's entertainment.
Nonsense. You're going to miss the Christmas party if you leave now.
I don't want to go to a party. I want to spend the holidays with my family.
Okay, fine. Bring him in.
Dad, thank goodness you're here. These people are insane. Let's get out of here.
Well, just a second, honey. This seems like a pretty good deal. They are going to give me money to start my revenge project against Trevor's dad.
Dad, who cares about Mr. Smith? Can't we just move on? My dad would hear none of it. He just wanted to get back at Mr. Smith, and now I was the one who was paying for it.
Don't worry, honey. It's only a week. Look at all these things you have to play with. And you have your new friend here. Have fun.
Come on, friend, it'll be a blast. This opportunity is going to change our lives.
That night, we were forced to go to the most pretentious party ever. When my dad said I had to work, this wasn't exactly what I was picturing.
Isn't this great? Look at all these rich and famous people.
Are you kidding me?
We look ridiculous.
Yes, you do.
Oh boy, my night had gotten a lot worse.
I wondered why Hunt would ever be interested in someone like you. But now I know it was to embarrass you and your little friend.
You're just jealous Hunter didn't choose you. After tonight he will. Or I will find another millionaire here to be my boyfriend, and you'll still be dressed like Santa's little helper.
Whatever, gold digger. Just then, Hunter stood up and the room went silent.
You are all very welcome for me inviting you to my son's Christmas party. I hope the gifts you have given him are acceptable. We would like to announce that this year for Christmas, we have found Hunter a girlfriend. Erica, please come to the front.
This had to be the most embarrassing moment of my life.
Go on.
They made me stand up there like I was some trophy. I was so mad with everyone clapping like trained seals. And just then, I saw him. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Trevor. What was he doing here? And how did he get so cute in just a year? I barely heard what Hunter's mom said next, but when I did, I was shocked.
And in a few weeks, when Erica marries our dear Hunter...
Excuse me? I don't think so.
Mom, I don't understand why she is speaking to me in this manner.
Listen, I can't do this. I have to go. I'm not going to be told what to do by anybody, let alone some rich jerks. I felt like I wanted to scream, but then Trevor came in. When I looked at him, all of my anxiety went away, so I ran to him and gave him a big hug.
I thought I would never see you again. What are you doing in a place like this? About to marry a stuck-up guy like that?
It's a long story. Why are you here?
I wanted to contact you, but I couldn't find you. The cleaning project we were working on at my house is a hit. I was going to get Hunter to be an investor, and we can make millions.
Maybe I can help you with that, Trev. That night, I convinced Hunter that I had a business idea, and he was more than happy to finance it if it meant I married him. Little did they know, I had my fingers crossed and a trick up my sleeve.
Fine. I'll finance your little project. But a week from now, on Christmas, you and I will be married.
Okay, guys, that can't happen. We have to get to work, and quickly. With Hunter's money, I was able to buy back the department store. And with a little help from Trev and Lisa, I was going to make it awesome. With Lisa's clothes and Trevor's invention, we were ready for opening day. Everyone who was anyone was going to be here.
Oh my goodness, look at how many influencers are here. We're definitely going viral.
You'll be able to get away from Hunter and support your family on your own in no time.
I couldn't have done it without your help. And just then, Trevor picked me up and hugged me. Little did I know, one of the influencers caught Trevor and I on camera.
Oh my goodness, that's Chloe. She's the hottest fashion vlogger in the country. You have to talk to her.
As I was doing my interview, what I didn't see was Miranda and her friends sneaking into our grand opening. They went to all of our clothes and splattered them all with paint. When we started our fashion show, I thought Miranda had ruined everything. The fashion models began to walk out and everyone gasped. The clothes had paint streaks all over them.
Oh no! What happened to my clothes?
I think I have an idea. That was it. I was sick of dealing with this jealous bully. I needed to give her a piece of my mind.
Looks like the designs from your loser friend are ruined. I told you that you shouldn't mess with me.
I was ready to snap, but then I heard an applause, and then everyone began to stand up.
It's brilliant, dramatic, stunning. This is my fashion line of the year.
Watching Miranda's face as the whole store and fashion industry applauded us was priceless. I was so happy that I had forgotten all about Hunter and our arrangement.
Did you really think I wouldn't see you with him? I see everything. You've been using me to see this guy. Look at him. He's so poor. Hey, I'm not poor. Oh yes, you are. I am taking back my funding, and you and your loser friends will have nothing when you could have had everything.
I do have everything. I have a good family and friends and talent. I don't need your money. Just then, my dad jumped in between Hunter and I.
Don't listen to my crazy daughter. I just need a little more time to get back
Enough with the revenge stuff, Dad. If someone does us wrong, we just move on and do better. We don't need their money. And then Hunter's mom came with her lawyers next to her.
You have a contract that your family signed. What my son wants for Christmas, he gets.
Well, not this time. Erica doesn't owe you anything. I paid off her contract.
Trevor, you didn't have to do that. How could you afford to do that?
I sold our cleaning product to a major company, and we made millions. Enough to get you away from these crazy people.
What a great Christmas gift.
Is there anything else you want?
Maybe just a vacation from my Christmas vacation.
What about your old video games?
You really do know everything I want.
Hey, just call me Santa Claus.
Hi, I'm Brandy, and I'm from Portugal. You'll never believe what I had to do to get my mom to sign me up for school. But before I continue, please like and subscribe to our channel. I grew up with a super talented mom. Not only was she a songwriter, she was also a famous singer as well. I used to enjoy going to Mom's concerts and cheering her on from backstage. But when I was 5, everything changed. One afternoon, as Mom picked me up from preschool, a man dressed in all black and a mask tried to take me away. Luckily for me, Mom's bodyguards were able to rescue me, but the man was never caught. From that day forward, Mom decided to homeschool me. When I was 8, I was singing to one of the songs on the radio, and Mom walked into my room.
Brandy, you have a beautiful voice.
Do you think I could go up on stage and sing with you one day?
I'm sure you can, sweetheart.
The next day when I woke up, there was a guitar with a red bow in my bedroom with a note that said, "Love, Mom." While Mom hired the best tutors for schoolwork and to play the guitar, I didn't have any friends. Unless you counted my stuffed rabbit, Whiskers, that my mom bought me. When I was 13, I begged Mom to send me back to school. But Mom went bonkers! I knew I had to take matters into my own hands. And that's exactly what I did. One day, I snuck into Mom's room while she was sleeping and glued all her shoes to the floor.
Brandy, what did you do?
Nothing, Mom. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Another time, Mom threw a party, and I walked into the party dressed in a clown outfit and a full face of clown makeup.
Brandy, what on earth are you wearing?
Isn't it cute, Mom?
Mom was furious. She tried to get me to change, but I told her I'd continue doing weird things until she allowed me to go to a school of my choice. My antics went on for over a year until... One morning during breakfast, Mom made a big announcement.
After much thought, I have decided to send you to the school that you requested.
Are you serious? Thanks, Mom. You're the best.
About a week later, when I entered the classroom on my first day, the kids all looked at me as though I was some type of weirdo.
Weird bunny girl.
Who brings a stuffed animal to school?
After I found my seat, I was a bit excited and nervous as I was not sure of what to expect next. During science class, the teacher asked a question that nobody was able to answer. Well, almost nobody.
Brandy, would you like to have a go at it? Which 2 parts of the body continue to grow for your entire life?
Oh, that's easy. The nose and the ears.
Very good, Brandy.
As the teacher continued with the class, I answered all the questions correctly. What I didn't expect was the death stares from the other students. Like, what was I supposed to do? Not answer the questions?
Who knew that Weird Bugs bunny girl was also a geek?
When the bell rang, as I was walking through the corridor, I noticed a glass case with music competition trophies. While admiring it, I bumped into someone. I'm so sorry. When I looked up, before me stood the cutest guy I'd ever seen. Not that I've seen many cute guys.
Hey, it's okay. Jesse's the name.
And I'm Brandy. Before I could get any more words out, someone pushed me from behind. I stumbled and Jesse caught my arm.
You okay, Sunshine? I wanted to see if the geeky bunny girl would have hopped away. Don't be a jerk, Alex. Are you going to stop me, pretty boy?
Jesse?
Great! The trash is taking itself out.
The next day during lunch, I turned up my headphones to silence the teasing from the other kids. Just then, my favorite song came on, and I did what I always do. Belted out the lyrics like no one was listening. But someone was listening.
You sound like a horse trying to sing opera.
Before I could respond, 3 girls walked over to us.
Stuff it, Alex. Are you afraid of a little competition? She sounds amazing and you know it.
I haven't had any real competition in 3 years. Did you check the trophies in the hallways? The name of my group are on them, not yours.
Girl, where did you learn to sing like that?
I told the girls that I was homeschooled and I had had voice lessons. I skipped the part about who my mother was.
We've got some great news. We've all decided to allow you to be a part of our singing group, the A Cappella Sorority Sisters.
Really? I'd love to.
But you'll definitely need to get rid of that stuffed rabbit, and we'll need to go shopping to upgrade your wardrobe.
Finally! I'd gotten what I've always wanted, friends! But it did come with a cost. Ever since Alex found out that I was part of Rebecca's group, he did everything to make my life a living nightmare. One time during class, I stood up to answer a question, and just as I sat down, Alex put a whoopee cushion on my seat. The farting sound wasn't the worst of it. The smell was awful. Kids at school called me Fart Girl for an entire week. One afternoon, while at the mall, I bumped into someone. Jessie, what are you doing here?
Just hanging out. Why are you coming out of the men's store?
Window shopping.
So, I heard you joined the a cappella sorority sisters.
You heard correctly.
Are you any good?
Find me a singing booth, and I'll let you be the judge of that. A few minutes later, we walked into a record store, and the guy set up 2 mics for us.
Let's make this interesting. How about we do a duet?
Is that the worst you can do? Jessie picked the song, and as the music track began to play, our voices blended beautifully. By the time the song was done, there was a crowd of people around us, and they all cheered. After Jessie and I sang, I told him I had to rush to practice with the girls. About 2 hours later, I showed up at Rebecca's, and the other girls were already there. We practiced for about 3 hours before we decided to take a break.
Do you guys really think we could win against Alex and his boys this year? We sure can. Now that we have our secret weapon.
Rehearsal was totally awesome, and we decided to meet a few days a week until the competition. But what happened before that shook my world. A few days later, Angelica and I were hanging out at the mall.
Why did you go into that store? Didn't you say that your dad left when you were a baby?
To avoid her questioning, I quickly pulled Angelica over to a display window with the most gorgeous fairy wings ever. Aren't they amazing? I'll buy us a pair, and tomorrow we can wear them to school. The only thing I loved more than bunnies was fairies. I was super excited. I tried to give Angelica her pair of wings, but she insisted that I bring them to school with me the next day. As we walked into the food court, we spotted Alex standing at the front of the line chatting with the cashier.
Listen, I've got to get something for my mom. I'll see you at school tomorrow.
As I walked closer to Alex, I realized that something was wrong.
I know it's here somewhere.
I watched as Alex searched his pockets and his backpack frantically, while the girl behind the counter looked slightly annoyed.
Sir, if you don't have the money, I have to ask you to step out of the line.
I gasped as I saw Alex hold onto one end of the tray and the server held the other. Had Alex lost it?
Please, I need this. Maybe I can do some dishes or something.
I'll pay for it.
That'll be $13.49, ma'am.
I thought Alex may have been too macho to accept help from Brandy the weirdo, but he just stood there. After I paid for his food, I turned to walk away, but he held my hand gently.
Thank you. This really is, thanks.
And with that, he turned and walked away. The next day at school, I couldn't wait to show off my fairy wings, but I stopped in my tracks when I saw Angelica.
Good God, who died and made her the mother of all fairies? And she really thought I would wear fairy wings at school like a freak?
I couldn't understand school kids. Why were they so mean to people who weren't exactly like them?
Hey there. Cute fairy wings. Do you have another pair in there for me?
Are you making fun of me, or do you really want the wings?
Does this look like a face that's making fun of you? Let's get these wings on. Shall we head to class, my fairy maiden?
We shall. That day was spectacular. The teachers didn't even mind that Jessie and I wore the wings. Over time, the kids stopped laughing, and they were giving us compliments about the wings. A few girls even asked where I bought them. Later that day, while Jessie and I were having lunch, Rebecca, Trisha, and Angelica walked up to us.
We heard what Angelica did to you this morning, and we're so sorry that she did that. That is not how friends act. Angelica has something she wants to say to you.
I knew that Rebecca and Trisha were trying to do the right thing, but in my heart, it didn't feel right. Angelica looked so embarrassed. I decided to take matters into my own hands. Do you guys mind if Angelica and I have a few minutes alone? Come on, Angelica. Once away from everyone, I felt as though the tension from Angelica's body just lifted. We sat for a few minutes before Angelica broke the silence.
I'm sorry about what I did. I was just so jealous of how Rebecca keeps going on about you. She's my best friend, but now that you're here, she doesn't even act like it.
Have you told Rebecca how you felt? I wanted to come to school to make lots of friends and have new experiences. I haven't gotten lots of friends yet, but the few friends I did have made me feel totally special.
Can you ever forgive me for being such an idiot?
That's what friends do, don't they? They give each other second chances.
I'm going to find Rebecca.
Hey,
Hey yourself.
I just wanted to thank you again for what you did for me the other day. I was taking that food home for my younger siblings.
I'll do that for any friend of mine.
Friend? I've been nothing but mean to you since day one. And you still consider me a friend?
Well, maybe an associate.
Cute. Amazing. And a sense of humor.
Did Alex think I had a sense of humor? Tell me more about those younger siblings of yours. I always wanted siblings. For the next 30 minutes, Alex and I shared things about our personal lives. Alex wasn't as bad as he seemed. His family was just going through a rough patch right now. With his mom ill and his dad working all the time, he had 3 younger siblings. Then, he told me something I never would have expected.
The reason I was so mean to you was because I saw all the attention Jesse was giving to you.
But why would that upset you?
Because, you know, I like him.
What do you mean? Oh! Does anyone else know? Don't worry. When you're ready to come out about it, I'll be there to support you.
Thank you.
A few days later, competition night! I was a nervous wreck! When our name called and we stepped onto the stage, I knew this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. After we performed, someone Mom hadn't seen in years was waiting for me backstage. Dad, you made it!
You invited me, and I knew how important this was for you.
Henry, what on earth are you doing here?
Okay, don't go getting confused. You see, when I was 13, I found out that Mom actually didn't write her own songs. She stole them from... Drumroll, please. My dad! When Dad realized Mom was stealing his songs and didn't give him credit, he tried to fight it. But without proof, Mom's lawyers crushed him. And in the process, he lost me and his dignity. You see, I found out where Dad worked, and that's why I chose to attend Bradford High, because it was close to the mall where Dad worked. I'd visit him a few days a week after school, and I'd always buy a few things before leaving. Now it was time for Mom and Dad to settle their differences, and time for Mom to pay Dad what was rightfully his. Mom, I invited Dad because you've kept him out of our life long enough, and you also owe him for what you stole from him.
What's the meaning of this? We're leaving.
If we leave now, I'll tell everyone what you did, and I'll never speak to you again. Every girl needs their father. Why should I be any different? Mom, please.
Fine. I'll meet you at my office. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Just as Mom gave Dad the address of her office, the MC stepped towards the mic, and I held my breath.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for. And this year's winners of the musical competition are the a cappella sorority sisters.
We won! We won!
After the competition, we all went out to celebrate. And the next day, as promised, Mom met with Dad and she gave him a check of $10 million. She apologized to the both of us for what she did and told us that he could visit me anytime at the house. Everything in my life seemed to be going great. I had friends, my dad was around, but there was still something missing.
There's something I've been wanting to ask you for the longest while.
Yes?
Would you like to go on a date with me?
I thought you'd never ask.
Hi, my name is Gwen. You're probably wondering why I look chill in a situation like this. Well, let's just say, the moment we moved into this house, I knew there was something else right here with us, but they wouldn't listen. In fact, given what happened, it would be okay if it was just ghosts, but it was something much more sinister. Of course, before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our must-watch STA videos. On the first day here, while everyone was inside unpacking, I chose to be here and kick a ball around. I learned to play from my dear late dad. Oops! I tracked the ball and found it right in the hands of a crooked old woman wearing a hooded cloak who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Her nails were so long, they almost wrapped around the ball. Ick! My ball, please?
The last owner of your house disappeared.
Finally, she let me have the ball, and I wasted no time in speeding right back to my house. Once I was at the porch, I turned around to take another look at the woman, but the old woman was already behind me.
Stay away from the basement. If you want to live.
Predictably, my mom and her husband didn't believe a thing I said when I told them about the old woman at dinner.
Gwen, don't you like the food?
You promised we'd have stir fry.
This is Iris's favorite, and it's her first night here.
It's everyone's first night here. How typical of Mom. Whatever her stepdaughter wanted, Mom made sure she got it. It made me wonder if she still loved me.
Girls, this house is so cheap. Wonder why the owner just left it empty for so long.
The old woman next door gave me a good reason why. This house is haunted.
We have a scaredy cat at the table. Want some milk, little kitty?
Girls! Great news. I think I can buy that beat-up Volkswagen we saw for sale in town with the money we saved from renting this place. That sixth-hand car? Ew. That reminds me. We need to stay away from the basement.
Exactly what the witch neighbor said.
There was a fire in the basement, so it's quite unstable.
Great! A haunted house built on an unstable basement. What could go wrong?
Nothing's going to go wrong.
Here's a good life hack to learn. Never say, what could go wrong when staying in a haunted mansion you just moved into because your cheapskate stepfather found the deal of a lifetime. Because it will always go wrong.
Oh, sorry, girls. I'll make it up to you.
You can start with us leaving this house.
Maybe it's a good thing we've moved into this house. We might get to see your real dad's ghost. Iris! Girls, let's get cleaned up.
After our terrible dinner, I just cleaned up and went to bed. How could she bring up my father like that? How could Mom let her? It made me so mad. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every shadow in my room became a monster. I couldn't stop thinking of Dad. We had a happy family back then. No Iris, no new stepdad. Yeah, it's haunted. You know those horror movies where characters go into scary rooms and you're like, don't go in there, fool! Yeah. Well, when in real life, it's a lot harder to stay in the room than go check things out. Still pretty foolish. Iris? Mom? Mom's husband? Who's there? I have a stick. 2 sticks.
Hey, it's just me, sweetheart. What is it?
I heard something.
Maybe it was the sound of me coming out of my room.
I also saw something. Like someone down there.
You worry too much. And just in case you forgot, my name's Koshnuts, not Mom's husband.
I like Mom's husband better. After that, I had even more questions. What was Mom's husband doing out of his room at that time of night? What stopped him from going downstairs to confirm what I saw? Something was fishy with that man and this house. The sooner I figured it out, the faster I could convince my mom that we should leave and go back home. The next morning, I went for a run to clear my head, but my shoes chose to disappoint before I could get home. Oh, bad timing, Mr. and Mrs. Shoes. Oh. The problem with not having a lot of money is that you have to buy pretty cheap things with short lifespans. Ouch! Watch where you're going.
Sorry, I think Bigfoot just walked through here. Saw footprints. Looks like you're the Bigfoot I was tracking.
The guy was very stunning. Black hair, blue eyes, he even had dimples. I'm a sucker for dimples. Dude, honestly.
Okay, you caught me. I'm just clumsy. I bet we've got the same shoe size.
Are you looking for trouble? I knew I had unusually big feet for a girl, but being insulted twice by a strange guy, that's something I wouldn't tolerate.
Not at all. Actually, your house is still pretty far off. Just take them. Don't worry, they don't stink. That much?
Thanks, but what about you?
My house is very close by. See ya!
Hey! How did you know where I live? For most of that day, all I thought about was that guy at the park. His manner of approach had been really awkward, but his cuteness more than made up for it.
The 6th disappearance of a set of priceless paintings from the National Museum has the whole city in confusion. Who is behind? The National Museum? That's just a few blocks away from here.
Just then, Mom came and cuddled up next to Dad. Ugh, my eyes. Did they have to remind me they got married like a month ago? I looked away from them only to notice something about the painting hanging over the fireplace. Hey, how did this painting of the horse become an antelope today?
Gwen, the house isn't haunted.
It's called evolution. The horse has evolved into an antelope.
So many clowns in this world. I'm serious. That was a horse last night.
Miss Grumpy Pants, what's your deal?
You are my deal. You and your dad.
Gwen, you know why you're seeing and hearing things? Because you won't accept change. You're determined to hate this house and everything in it. You know what we need? A family outing. Do a little bonding? Might affect our budget for the month, but let's do it anyway. Next week? Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a pain. The last thing I wanted was to sit down and have a cozy chow feast with those two. I didn't ask for any of this. I was happy back home, at least while my dad was still alive. That evening, I found my first evidence to prove we weren't the only occupants of this house. Come here for a bit.
I don't want to wind up in the trash.
Look.
Okay, I'm looking at soda bottles. So?
Nobody in this house drinks soda.
So who?
Exactly.
Are they a match, Sherlock?
Let's see where they go. I walked around the house only to see the footprint stop at a wall.
Oh, mighty sleuth wizard, you have found a wall. Brilliant.
Don't you know what this means? The basement.
Of course it does.
Iris, we found bottles. Tracks. I'm calling the police. At this point, I was majorly freaking out. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Hello? Police? Please come here right now. We are living in a haunted mansion. There's creaking, shadow people. Our food flew to our heads. A horse turned into an antelope. Now there's footprints. Hello? Police? Hello?
You know there's a law against prank calling the police. I'm telling Dad.
I couldn't believe that the police actually cut me off like that. And it made me wonder if I was actually going crazy. When Iris told my parents I called the police, they yelled at me for an hour straight. Just another terrible day. Early the next morning, I came out to the park again, hoping to see Frank, return his shoes, and maybe chat.
Fancy meeting you here.
Thanks. What's your name?
Don't tell me. I'm Frank. You sound like someone whose name will start with a J or maybe G. Gina, Gabriel, Gwen,
It's Gwen. How did you...
I'm very good at guessing. You looked really worried before.
I guess the new house and I aren't getting along.
Missing old friends.
There's that, and then I've been hearing and seeing things that make me feel like the mansion is haunted.
Are you the ones that moved into the mansion abandoned for decades?
Yes.
That house, there's, lots of stuff going on. Your family, you want to keep them safe, right?
Frank, what are you talking about?
Just the basement. Stay away from it.
So says the witch next door, too.
Hey, I know. Let's go to the arcade.
Was he asking me out on a date? Sure. What have I got to lose? The time we spent at the arcade was the most fun I had had since we moved here. Frank and I played different games, and even though he beat me at most, I won a few. All too soon, we had to go.
I haven't had that much fun in years.
Huh? Why?
I should go now. I'll call you.
For some days after I told Frank about the house, nothing strange happened again. I began to feel that maybe everything had been in my head. Just as I was convincing myself nothing was wrong, the house had other ideas. For the special family bond time, Mom and Mom's husband took us to a fancy restaurant. The three of them did the talking and bonding. I kept to myself. I watched Dad go red when the waiter brought his bill, and then he began to search his pockets like crazy.
I can't find my wallet.
Do a mobile transfer then, dear.
I had 10 grand in that wallet. That's the last of our savings till our next salary.
Maybe it's at home?
With our luck, I just knew that wallet might never be found. The hotel management sent us home with 2 of their security guards, so we could get the money and settle with them. But when we got home, we searched the whole house and didn't find the wallet. Mom volunteered to clear the debt by washing dishes for the restaurant. It should have been her husband. He's the one that lost the money. The next morning, I came downstairs with one single thought. Food. The pizza we left on the table was still there in its box. But when I opened it, each piece had been eaten save for the tomato rings piled into a pyramid as if to mock me.
What now? Ghost pizza?
This was supposed to be for breakfast, and you ate it all?
I didn't. And Dad doesn't eat leftover pizza.
I felt goosebumps prick my skin as I stared at the pizza. The pizza didn't eat itself.
Okay. Maybe a hungry burglar?
When I showed him the pizza, he got a tense look on his face. First your wallet, now this. There's something or someone in this house. Call the police. That basement.
No one is calling the police. Dad, I think I agree with Gwen this time. I'll throw this in the bin.
I was 100% sure at this point that he must have had a hand in all the things that had been driving me crazy in this house. And that basement would have the answers I needed. I was determined to check it tonight. The next night, I crept out of my room and made for the basement. I was very close to the short staircase leading down to the basement when I noticed someone's shadow behind me. Who's there? Iris. You can't stop me.
I believe you now. Either there's a thief or a ghost. Let's get him.
A smile bloomed on my face as we stared at each other for a few seconds, and she smiled back. Finally, someone believed me. Just as I reached for the basement door handle, my phone rang.
It's midnight. Who's that?
Hello? Frank?
Hey, Gwen. Where are you now?
Just in my room. Reading a book?
Yeah? Can I see a picture of it?
Just a minute. Yes, shame on me. I did just leave Iris there at the basement door, but I couldn't tell Frank what we were really up to. Back in my room, I just grabbed a random book and took a photo of it.
No, I don't recognize it. Hey, I was wondering if we could go out tomorrow.
Getting invited on another date with Frank? I forgot all about the basement. All I could think of was our date tomorrow. But what happened was beyond my wildest dreams. Our date the next day was going really well until Frank suggested we get something to eat. Thanks.
Anytime.
So, you were talking about your brother?
He works in the National Museum.
The one paintings were stolen from?
Yeah.
Suddenly, Frank began to stack the tomatoes he's eating into the same pyramid pattern as the one the thief left last night. Was Frank the one who had been haunting our house? Memories of how we met and how he seemed to know things about me even before I told him. Then, what about Iris's dad? I was getting some odd signals from him too. I had to tell Iris about Frank. I have an errand to run. Sorry. Bye. My mind was on fire. Was Frank somehow living in our house? When I got back to the house, what I saw did not reassure me. Mom, what's going on?
Iris has been missing since this morning, honey. Did you see her?
No, I left for my date early this morning.
She's new here and maybe got lost wandering. We'll find her.
By evening, there was still no word from the police, and I became very worried. Maybe Iris was missing because we had gone too close to the basement. I had to tell my parents everything. Iris and I tried to go to the basement last night.
What? Why?
We didn't go in, okay? Well, I don't know if she did because I got a call and left her there. Or maybe whatever is in the basement took...
Oh no! Maybe she went in and the ceiling fell on her. Why do you believe that there's someone there?
I began to believe all of you that it was just in my head, but it's not. All the clues add up, and I think that you are protecting whatever is in there. Suddenly, Dad stood up and advanced on me threateningly. I stood my ground.
What are you saying?
I called the police, told them I kidnapped a girl and hid her in the basement. They will have to check by force now.
Gwen, I don't know.
Why didn't you call the police when Iris and I asked you to?
We still owe our former landlady some money. I heard recently that she filed a complaint to the police and I didn't want to talk to them. It's true, Gwen.
Well, if Mom said it was true, then it was.
Open up.
We all went downstairs and opened the door for the policeman. Then we led them to the basement.
We got an anonymous call that a girl was being held here. We think it may be Iris.
Despite all the police efforts to pry the basement door open, it wouldn't budge. I think I know another way. I led Dad and the policeman outside to the side of the house I had seen the footprints disappear to. I fumbled along the wall, and suddenly, my hand hit a lever. The wall silently opened to the basement. I knew it!
Unbelievable. Everyone freeze! Dad! Big sister!
It was such a relief to see her again. I was feeling so guilty. If something had happened to Iris, it would have been my fault. And in that moment, I realized I didn't want anything more for Iris than for her to be okay. Same for our dad.
Iris! How did you end up here? Gwen was right. I saw one of them in the house after you left, Gwen. He caught me and dragged me here.
We all hugged, and then I turned to look at the faces of the men who had been tormenting us. Frank? I knew it! You're a thief!
Not by choice. Please forgive me, Gwen.
The bearded guy beside Frank was his exact replica. It wasn't hard to put things together. Your brother works in the museum? Ha! More like stealing from the museum.
Let us handle this, miss. Great job. In fact, I'd say you're a hero.
Frank and the other guys were arrested, but because he was underage and truly had been forced into crime by his brother, he was given community service instead. It still hurt, but I could understand why he did it. And in a way, I was grateful. After all, if it were not for all the drama, I never would have figured out what was actually important. And what's that? My new family. We turned the basement into a game room. Hey, Dad.
Yes, Gwen?
It's Dad's last gift to me. Merle Diamonds. Do you think it can get us something better than that beat-up Volkswagen?
Gwen, are you serious?
Yep. Why hold on to something that could make life better for us?
Thanks, Gwen. But the best place for this necklace should be right here. Your father gave this for you to keep. I'd never forgive myself if you sold this. And besides, I talked to the museum earlier today. Did you know there was a reward for finding all those paintings?
Really?
How much? We can get a real car. New car, new everything. We're rich. Gwen, I'm so sorry we didn't listen. You really are a hero.
Oh, I love you all.
I love you too.
After that incident, I tried to find the old woman again, only to find she had disappeared. Everyone said she never existed, but I know what I saw. What do you guys think? Was she real or something else? Something scary.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I've always been the most popular and beautiful girl in the class. You may think that my life sounds amazing, but trust me, it isn't. Being beautiful also has its downsides, especially when everybody stereotypes me because I'm blonde. One time in primary school, my teacher asked me to give a speech to the whole school about climate change. But as I walked onto the stage, my body just froze in fear. I was experiencing stage fright. Climate change is... My legs felt like they would tremble into another dimension.
Ha! She doesn't even know what she's talking about!
Looks like she gave up beauty for brains.
Everyone erupted into laughter. No, I do. And unfortunately, because of my stage fright, everyone thought I was dumb. My bad reputation stuck throughout the rest of my time at school, despite my good grades. Like this one time at school, we were hanging out when suddenly I heard a shout from across the field. The crowd was forming, and I rushed over to find a young, nerdy boy being picked on by the mean boy, Oscar.
Your eyes look like cubes. From now on, they should call you Cube Boy.
Oscar, leave him alone! You shouldn't pick on him for needing glasses. At least he has brains.
Unlike you!
The other kids laughed, and Oscar huffed and ran away in embarrassment. Are you okay? I expected some kind of thank you, but all I got was...
I don't need your help, especially not from a blockhead.
Fine! Next time I won't help you! When I got home that evening, I was really nervous. Today was the day I would ask my mom if I could study to be a doctor. You see, I've always wanted to help people, and it's always been a huge dream of mine. Mom, I have a favor to ask. I want you to sign these university papers so I can go study medicine and—
Hold the phone! You want to study medicine? As if! You will become a model! We can't be wasting those godlike features of yours!
But no buts!
Ugh!
I stormed off to my room in anger. If my mom wouldn't let me study medicine, I'd just have to trick her into thinking I was going to uni for fashion. She would never know. She hardly even cared about my life. I was so excited to get started, but as I walked in, someone kicked a ball right at my head.
Ouch!
I looked up to find Prince Charming. At least he looked like a prince.
Are you okay?
Wow. Thanks. Are you new here as well?
Wait, you don't know who I am? Typical of a snobby princess like yourself.
Excuse you?
It's me, Charlie, from school.
That nerdy kid I rescued from that brute Oscar. But you're so handsome now.
Look, the fashion department is that way. This is the medicine section.
I know that. I'm going to become a doctor.
Sure thing.
What was that?
What was wrong with this dude? He hadn't even apologized for hitting me in the head with a ball. In my first lecture, the stares of the other students were a little distracting.
Okay, class. Who can tell me what the meaning of pyrexia is?
I raised my hand immediately, but another guy beat me to it. My blood boiled when I saw it was Charlie. He sniggered at me before answering.
Pyrexia is hypothermia.
Unfortunately, Charlie, that is incorrect. Anyone else? Oh, me! Yes?
Pyrexia is another word for fever.
Correct! Well done,
Scarlet.
Scarlet. Maybe Charlie here can learn a thing or two from you.
Now it was my turn to look smug. Oh, I loved the look on his shocked face. Later at lunch, I went to sit at a quiet table when a shy girl approached me.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I just wanted to say that you did really great in that lecture and...
But before she could say anything else, a flock of people pushed her aside and surrounded me.
That was amazing.
You're hot, and you've got the brains.
But before they could press in any further, I took a big sip of my milk and sprayed them all with it.
Ew, gross!
Let me pass, please. I went to sit at the table with Katie while they all stared in shock. You were saying? The crowd shuffled away in shock, but I didn't care. They had pushed Katie aside so rudely, as if she didn't exist.
Thank you for that, but you don't have to sit with me. I understand if you don't want to.
Oh, but I do. Tell me more about yourself, Katie. We got chatting, and sure enough, we really hit it off. One afternoon, Katie and I were studying in the library, and I went to get a book from the shelf, but it was too high. Suddenly, someone appeared from behind and got it for me. Thank you. Oh, it's you.
Aren't you gonna thank your knight in shining armor?
I smirked and leaned in. I was only playing with him, but when I leaned in, his face flushed with the brightest red I've ever seen. Was he blushing?
Whoa, relax. I wasn't actually gonna kiss you.
Good. I would hate it if you, kissed me because, you're gross.
Then he ran out of there as if his pants were on fire. Well, that was weird. When I returned to Katie, I told her about Charlie being there.
What? Did he see me?
Wait a second.
Do you have a crush on Charlie?
Shh, don't tell anybody. But wait, are you sure you have a crush on him? Because, no offense, but he's kind of a dimwad.
No, really, he's actually kind and sweet.
Are we talking about the same Charlie?
Listen, I was wondering if you could, help me out.
I didn't know how I felt about this shocking news, but I agreed to help her. I started off by giving her a makeover. We boosted up her style, brushed her hair, and by the end of it, she was looking like a model.
How did you do it?
You already had it in you, baby. When we went to class that day, everyone was stunned by Katie. But when Charlie walked in, he didn't even glance at Katie. Instead, he turned to me.
Hello, princess.
Really? That's the best you can do? No matter what we tried, Charlie paid Katie no attention. As we left class, though, we ran into a face from the past.
Oscar?
Oh, hi, Scarlet. How?
When he noticed Katie, his jaw dropped.
Are you Oxygen? Because I need you in my life.
I rolled my eyes, but Katie was blushing. Ugh, come on, Katie. You can do better than Oscar. Even though Charlie didn't seem to care about Katie, he had no problem teasing me all the time. Eventually, I decided I would do Katie a favor and just tell Charlie she liked him. So one evening, I knocked on the door to his dorm.
Scarlet, what are you doing here?
Listen, I'm just gonna come out and say it. My bestie Katie has a crush on you, and she's a really wonderful person and you should date her.
Oh, there's one problem though. I kinda have a crush on someone else.
Seriously, who could be better than Katie?
Well, you.
My jaw fell open and I started gasping like a fish. And I don't know how I did it, but I threw my cup of juice in his face and ran off. I guess I was just so confused. He was always teasing me. How could he have a crush on me? I didn't tell Katie about the strange encounter. I didn't even know how I felt. But the universe works in mysterious ways, because one day, our professor assigned us partners for a science project, and he paired me with Charlie.
I wish I could be paired with Charlie.
It was so awkward. Somehow, Charlie and I managed to finish our project, and the day came to present it to the class. But when I walked in front of everyone, my legs started wobbling like jello. This presentation,
What's wrong?
I have major stage fright.
I saw Charlie hesitate, but then he held my hand tightly.
Don't worry. I'm right here.
And somehow, that small touch gave me enough courage to speak. After we finished, I hugged Charlie and I felt like I was blushing too. But then I saw Katie in the crowd and I immediately felt a wave of guilt wash over me. Why did she have to like him? But surprisingly, when I met up with Katie later, she gave me some shocking news.
You remember that guy Oscar we met the other day? Well, he asked me on a date, and I said yes.
What? But I thought you liked Charlie.
I mean, I did, but he pays me no attention, and Oscar has been so loving.
I was so happy for Katie, but for reasons she didn't realize. One night, there was a massive party, and Katie forced me to go since Oscar was going. When we arrived, she left to go find Oscar, and I went outside by the pool. I was standing there, brooding in my own thoughts, when suddenly a crazy dude ran past and knocked me into the pool. My dress was so heavy in the water that it kept dragging me down. I was so scared. But then a strong hand grabbed me out of the water and held me in a tight hug.
You're okay. It's okay.
We hugged tightly, and I realized in that moment how amazing Charlie was. So I kissed him. It felt magical. But then there was a cry behind us.
How could you? Katie, you don't even like Charlie anymore. You're with Oscar now, and...
But she ran off before I could say anything else. From that night on, Katie stopped speaking to me, avoiding me in hallways, ignoring me in class. It was so immature. But I didn't realize just how far she would go when I got to my room and found a big sign on the wall in red, "Don't become a doctor." I wondered who could have done this when there was a sudden knock at the door. I was shocked to see Charlie there, looking all nervous.
Hey, Scarlet, I was wondering.
When Charlie saw the message, his eyes widened.
Oh no! Don't worry. We'll clean this up.
Charlie calmed me down, and then together we started washing off the paint. But then there was another knock at the door. Man, was I popular today. I went to answer and was surprised to see Katie.
Listen, Scarlet, we need to talk.
At that moment, Charlie stepped into view and Katie's eyes widened. Then she looked angry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Majesties. Am I interrupting something?
Suddenly, I realized who was behind the threatening message.
It was you! You wrote the message!
I showed her the red paint on the wall.
Do you really think I would stoop that low? That's it! You've insulted me enough! We're through!
Katie and I officially broke our friendship. I was sad, but I couldn't stay friends with someone who would write a message on my wall like that. Luckily, though, I had Charlie. He asked me out, and I said yes. And we were having a study session one day when Charlie poked my nose.
You look so cute when you're thinking.
We leaned in and we were about to kiss when I picked up the phone and Mom answered.
What's up, Mother? Scarlet, I'm on my way to see you. What? No. You? Oh, I'm going through a tunnel. I'll see you soon.
My heart dropped like a stone. If my mom found out I was studying medicine, she would force me to leave uni.
Quick, remove any evidence of medicine from my room.
What?
Just do it!
With Charlie's help, I took down all of my doctor's posters, my medicine books, my papers, everything. We then replaced everything with fashion-themed stuff just in time for the door to open, and there was my mom.
Scarlet! Oh, how I've missed you, sweetie. And who's this young man? My friend, Charlie. Ooh, another fashion student. Who's your favorite fashion icon?
Abraham Lincoln.
What? Anyway, glad you got to meet Charlie, but he's gotta go. Bye, Charlie!
I was so relieved when my mom finally left. There was one strange moment, though, as she was leaving. Listen, Scarlet, is there anything you want to tell me before you leave?
No?
Okay. That short scare with my mom was soon forgotten about. The next day, when Charlie invited me for a picnic, it was so romantic.
Oh no, I forgot I made sandwiches. I left them in my room.
Don't worry. I'll go get them.
He left from my room, but a few minutes later, he came running back in a panic.
There's smoke coming from your dorm.
What?
We ran over to find all my medicine papers were destroyed, burned to a crisp. No! All my research! My hard work! Who did this? There was a sound from the closet, and we both froze.
I think the culprit is still in here.
We crept over and Charlie flung the door open. I was fully expecting to find Katie there, but I was shocked to see my mom instead. Mom? You were behind this! And that message, did you write that too? Yes, I'm sorry, honey, but when I found out you were studying medicine, I had to put a stop to it. Why? Because you're beautiful. It would be an injustice not to become a model. Can't you see that I'm more than just a pretty face? All my life, people have called me dumb and stupid just because I don't look like your typical smart nerd or whatever. I need you to support me with this. It's my dream to become a doctor.
And she's really smart. Smartest in our class, actually.
I smiled at him gratefully, and then my mom let out a sigh. I suppose I have been a little harsh. Fine. I'll let you become a doctor, but only if you promise to keep up your skincare routine. I would never dream of letting that go. We all laughed, and it seemed this was the end of my story. But there was one more thing that needed resolving. Graduation came along, and I was honored with giving the valedictorian speech. I expected the same stage fright as before when I walked on stage, but surprisingly, I felt very calm. All my life, people have told me what I'm supposed to be. Nothing more than a pretty face. But today proves them wrong. The crowd cheered, and as I walked off the stage, Katie appeared. Scarlett, I owe you an apology. My parents were the ones who sabotaged my thesis. I'm sorry I accused you wrongly. And things with Charlie, I'll break up with him if you need me to. I'll do anything for you. No, don't do that. I'm with Oscar now, and just because I used to have a crush on Charlie doesn't mean you can't date him. Let's make sure a guy never comes between us again. Never. We hugged, and it was the perfect end to my story.